Good morning, folks. How is everyone? As always, I hope you are doing well. You're my people. I love you. I want you to be the big three, my friends. That's why we do this. So, yesterday we were talking about everybody starting to just burn out because, the old expression, banging your head against the wall. Well, you could theoretically bang your head against the wall till the wall collapses. Theoretically possible. Not something anyone would recommend. But I was positive we had covered this, I don't know, a year or 2 years ago, and maybe I didn't, or maybe Mustang a GoPro, I think his handle is. If I fuck your handle up, I am sorry, I apologize. Said, synthetic stressors. That's interesting. That's something to think about. I thought we had covered that a while back, but let's go back and do it again. Well, we'll start with the basics. Fear porn, right? So it's like the dog herding the sheep or the cattle. It barks and makes noise. Now, the dog and the handler both know that the dog is not supposed to hurt the animals. But the animals don't know that. And so when the dog is nipping at the cattle's heels, so that's why they're called heelers, or the sheepdogs are barking and herding up the sheep to force them into the pen or the corral or whatever, they're scaring them in the direction they want them to go. Right? Well, fear porn is basically just a digital sheepdog or healer, and it's there to chase the sheep, the cattle, depending on the livestock in general, shall we say, into the desired location, the desired state. Now, you hear me get on Trump's case all the time. Of course I'm voting for his big, stupid orange ass. But I understand that when he walked in, he picked quite literally the worst people he could, because Trump doesn't hire the guys who swing the hammers. Trump hires the companies that hire the guys that swing the hammers. That's how that works. He's that far removed. And he thought he could get away with that in D.C. These would be subject matter experts or whatever, for want of a better term. Now, for his entire 4 years, all you heard was fake news, you're fake news. I'm not talking to you, no questions for you, you're fake news. None of his handlers ever turned to him and said, big man, Obama back in 2012, 2013 modified something called the Smith-Mundt Act. You can still look it up. It's still out there on the internet. And what he did, so the Smith-Mundt Act basically said that it was illegal for anyone to propagandize, especially the government, by the way, to propagandize to the American people. So, much like the CIA is never supposed to operate in CONUS, and much like Posse Comitatus, which apparently they forgot existed, also says the military can't operate here. Now, people say, what about the National Guard? National Guard is a state thing. It's a federal thing. Slightly different. That being said, no one bothered to tell the big orange, or if they did, he decided not to listen to them because his ego is so large. He's positive he knows fucking everything, which is the first mistake a lot of people make. Until you realize you don't know shit, you don't know shit. Just throwing it out there. That's an old one my old man taught me a long time ago. Nobody sat down in the 4 years he was in office and said, you know what? If you just rescinded Obama's executive order on Smith-Mundt, then they couldn't do this. They couldn't out and out lie without fear of repercussions. But he didn't do that. So instead, we get 4 years of, and what was it, the one the other day? It had me dying laughing. Trump is lifting the words of Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini. Like he's all three of them rolled into one. Although theoretically they're three opposing ideologies. Okay. And then what did Kamala just come out and say that Donald Trump said he wishes he had generals like Hitler? I would too. Don't get me wrong. Erwin Rommel, man, was a fucking genius. But neither here nor there. So the whole concept of fear porn is it's a synthetic stressor. If you keep people in a heightened sense of alert all the time, if you raise their cortisol levels through the roof, you're going to destroy their immune system and make them really, really unhealthy. We saw what a good idea that was, didn't we? But also, people in a heightened sense of people in a heightened state of awareness tend to lose focus. They become very, very tightly focused. Instead of being able to see big picture, they can only see the small picture because they're busy looking for the immediate threat. What this has done is drove a lot of people right over the edge. Just drove them. There was the video yesterday of the woman who walks up to somebody's house because they have a Trump sign out front. And she rings their ring bell because it's on video or whatever, the camera recorded everything. And this woman's losing her mind because her neighbor has a Trump sign out in the yard. He's a felon and a murderer, mind you, he's a murderer. And she's just spewing all this shit because this woman has been so abused, just pumped full of so much of this stuff that she's lost the ability to discern. She's not even looking through this. She's looking through this now, right? I mean, her worldview is a pinhole compared to what's actually going on. And she couldn't understand why somebody would have a separate opinion. She also kicked the woman's trash can when she was leaving her property. No, she was trespassing, by the way. Nobody invited her on. And if I was the person whose house it was, I would put a no trespassing sign on that fence in front of my house. This woman's batshit. But she's been exposed to such high levels of this synthetic stressor. She literally believes Trump was a murderer. I have yet to see the proof. But it's not just her. That's why there are so many people out there. I told you, I was out I handed out like 3 dozen Trump signs to all my neighbors and stuff, and I had neighbors who wouldn't take them. Oh, you can't have that because they don't come to your house. Okay. This is Arizona, man. There's a lot of people walking around here strapped, and I have no idea why we have so much road rage. I mean, you see the Florida ones all the time. Like a month ago, the moron, some kind of road rage incident, and he rolls up, and he's literally has his pistol in his hand as he's walking up to the other guy's truck, and the other guy's sitting there with his pistol in his lap while his girlfriend's filming. That guy's lucky he didn't get fucking shot. What is wrong with these morons? Oh, synthetic stressors. See, all that stress removes your ability to think critically. You're only in fight or flight reaction area. And so you don't have the capability of expanding out and maybe thinking there could be repercussions in Florida of walking up to a guy in a pickup truck, you know, like a Ram or something, a big black pickup truck, walking up to him over some minor bullshit road rage. It's not like he hit him, okay? With your gun drawn, thinking the other guy doesn't have a gun. This is fucking Florida, man. Those people are all crazy down there. This is the thing. This is the. Well, these things are literally full of all the information of the history of mankind, if you wanted to use them that way. They are not being used that way. They're being used for evil. The dark side is taken over. And so what they're being used for is propaganda and fear porn. And propaganda and fear porn are synthetic stressors, and synthetic stressors tend to make people act out in irrational manners. You see it all the time, and it's only getting worse. We saw the girl at ASU got stabbed by one of her classmates for racism? What about the Fruit Loop that murdered the fucking, was it like a 9-month-old baby in New York 4 or 5 months ago? Stabbed the kid to death. What? How much violent behavior, unhinged behavior is everywhere these days? And it's these people are lashing out because they don't have any other idea on how to cope, and they don't know why they're so angry. Now, if you're not subject to susceptible, if you're not susceptible to the programming, let's think of it that way, then you're less likely to behave like this. That doesn't mean that and nothing means anything in the long run. But if you're not susceptible to programming, they'll target you in different ways. Don't worry about it. It's a given. That being said, when you're not susceptible to the program, you keep your head on a swivel and you go gray man, right? So make sure you know where you're going. You don't walk down dark alleys at 3 o'clock in the morning. You just do basic normal safety stuff. Whereas the other people who are susceptible to the programming, and their version of the programming, if it's not the fear porn, is the everything's beautiful. Oh, look, everything's great. Okay. Well, that's called delusional behavior, but that's the other function of these machines. Again, Orange, repeal Smith on day one. All of it. Just no propagandizing to the American people. Not just from the federal government, from the news agencies, because the FCC licenses those agencies. I mean, television and radio are virtually dead. But I realize that your multinational infotainment group, they're not news, by the way, it's infotainment, just so you know, wishes to broadcast into my country. Well, there are certain things you have to stand by. So somebody's going to say, well, they tried to censor Elon Musk. We're not censoring. Okay? Just understand that. But if you decide to propagandize to my people in a seditious manner, I'm going to call you an enemy actor. And we will take measures to correct that. Go a long way in reducing the amount of friggin' terror and panic in this country. But again, like we talked about, Matt Blonde, Sticks, Tim Pool, who, by the way, he has a organic stressor. Apparently he's going to have a baby. Good for him. Congratulations, sir. And he's getting married. So again, good for you. Congratulations to you and the missus, or prospective missus. Babies are always good. And not in the space lizard Hillary Clinton way. No. Babies are good things. So, yeah. Will the Big Orange do this? Highly doubtful. I have serious doubts that both his kids are shooters, and nobody turned to him and said, hey, Dad, you know the bump stock red flag thing? And remember your promise to get rid of the 1934 NFA? Yeah. Well, the first two are unconstitutional, and so's the third. Does he listen? No. Is he too busy worried about everybody liking him and kissing his ass? Yeah. That's what it is. What are you Anyway, don't buy into the bullshit. Michelle, who's just joined us and become, again, she's new to the rabbit hole, but we're getting her used to it. Anybody worked yesterday because she was in the area. Me, her, Mills sat down. We bullshitted for a little while. And she got sent some Q stuff. The EBS system is about to drop, and I'm like, Michelle, if I've heard that 8 times, I've heard it a dozen. It hasn't dropped yet. So that's the other component. That's more propaganda. That's more of a psyop, I would imagine, since they've made a lot of promises, none of which have been kept. But again, the CIA is not supposed to operate CONUS, continental United States CONUS. So I would say follow the yellow brick road, but I don't even know where that leads to now. Plus, there's a whole thing about that being an allegory for something else. I don't remember off the top of my head. I do know Frank Baum wasn't a communist. Red Shoes, we know what the Red Shoe Club is. Yellow Brick Road and Emerald City and the Wizard. I don't know, you can look it up. It's out on the internet. Everything's out on the internet. You just gotta look. That's it. I'm rambling and I have no idea how long this video has been. Probably like 20 minutes. So, we're gonna cut it. And I'm gonna go, and I have shit to do. And I have to do a brake job before I go into work this morning because I need brakes because I live here with crazy people. I'll leave you with one thing. Think of it as trying to juggle too many balls. Well, too many chainsaws would be a better analogy. If you try to juggle too many of them, you're going to drop one and there's a good chance it's going to hurt you. So, I will catch you on the next one, my friends. Thank you for coming by, putting some eyeballs on you. You know I love you. Big, free, happy, healthy, safe, honorable, dutiful, vigilant, gray man, and no swivel, hot and handy. Hot and handy comes with its own litany of responsibilities that is up to you to know what they are. Again, you can look on the internet and find out because it's out there. But don't take the bait. That big, fat, wriggly worm got a hook in it. And they're expecting you to be the fish. Don't be the fish. In the long run, it might be better to be the crocodile. You know how they work, right? Take their time, bide their time, wait when the opportunity arises. That doesn't sound good. That sounds like the type of shit that gets you on more government watch lists. That's not what I meant at all. It just meant it doesn't matter. We're going to cut that. Skull.